Hey guys, before I start, I just want to say thank you so much to those who supported my channel and those who watched my first three videos. I'm so excited to make more videos. And if you're new to this channel, my name is Janet. Welcome to Janet Asks. If you're a high schooler like me who also struggles in figuring out what you want to do when you grow up for your career life, don't worry because this channel is for you. I'll be interviewing people of all different occupations, and hopefully that can help you understand the careers a little bit better and help you figure out which career is best suitable for you. So if you're interested, please like and subscribe. And yeah, let's get started with the video. I'm so excited for today's guest because he worked in Disney and Blizzard Entertainment, which is a video game company. And I know a lot of us are Disney fanatics and loves to sit on the couch all day playing video games. And my special guest is a product manager, which is a crucial role in making any kind of product you buy, iPhones, game consoles, you name it. Anyways, let's welcome the talented product manager, PJ. Hi, PJ. How's it going?
Excellent, excellent. Excited to talk to you, Janet.
I'm excited to learn more about your job, and thank you so much for coming here on Janet Asks. As I said, I'm excited to learn more about your job as a product manager. So, are you ready to get started?
Let's do it.
Awesome. So, first things first, what is your job as a product manager, and what's your role in the entertainment industry?
Okay. So I'm a product manager in the tech industry. And in the tech industry, we see product managers as individuals who have the responsibility for the growth and success of the product, right? You'll often hear that they're thought of as CEOs of their product, and their responsibilities are identifying what the user's problems are, and then coming up with solutions that address those problems and making sure that those solutions also meet the business and company objectives. They take those solutions, create a roadmap, and then they work with their partners in design, engineering, QA, and a host of other fields to deliver these solutions. So that's what a product manager in my industry does. What is my role in the entertainment industry? I work at Blizzard Entertainment. It's a video game company. It's known for games like Diablo, World of Warcraft, Overwatch. I am the product lead for the BattleNet desktop application, which is an application that's the gateway to all of our games. And I'm also the product lead for the BattleNet mobile application. Before Blizzard, I worked at Disney for a number of years. Also, Disney was in the entertainment industry. I worked on projects such as Disney Playmation, which was this wearable inner toy, and then also the Disney Movie Club.
Wow, I have no idea. What you do is very cool. It sounds like a lot of work managing all of the products, but you get to win the customer's heart, which I think is definitely valuable. And as you said, you went from Disney to Blizzard to amazing entertainment companies. So, can you explain a little bit more about your career journey? Like, where did you start and how did you end up becoming who you are today as a product manager?
So from when I was, your age or even younger, one of my main passions was video games. I love video games. I played them all the time, um, and that led me to choosing computer science as my major. So I studied computer science at the University of Minnesota, and after graduating from the University of Minnesota, I tried to get into the games industry, but a lot of the games industry was basically on the West Coast. And it was very hard at the time for me to get an entry level job in the industry. Um, and so, but at the time I graduated, the startups, there was this .com, the web was really booming. And I then, got into basically building web applications. So I was a programmer for about 5 years of my career. And then I went on to work at Target. And then at Target, even though my title was senior software engineer, the role was a little bit more of a sort of a, you could call it sort of a product manager type role, where we were working with developers who were offshore, and we were making sure that they understood what we wanted them to build. And so that kind of led me, it was sort of that transition point of me getting into product management. So I worked at Target for I think 4 years, and then I finally got a call from Disney, and so that's how I moved to California and started working at Disney. I worked at Disney for a couple of years, and then I wasn't feeling very fulfilled. Like I wasn't impacting those end users that I was still working on sort of internal systems, and I wanted to really help make an impact to the end users and work on those sorts of applications. And so I took a break to kind of I wanted to explore my creative side, if there was any. I wanted to see if I had any creative. And so I took an animation course, and I did that for a couple, almost 2 years, and that was an amazing experience. I mean, I had no design background. I didn't have any art background, so it was really fulfilling for me to kind of get that knowledge. And it brought a new sense of appreciation of what an end user sort of goes through. You start seeing those things much more clearly. You start empathizing much more with the end user, just getting that design knowledge. And so after I graduated there, I tried a little bit to get into the animation industry as an animator, but that is very, very, very difficult, especially for someone who's starting from scratch mid-career.
Mhm.
So after that, I said, okay, now I'm going to go back to product management. And then I got a job back at Disney and worked on a number of different projects for a number of years. And then I finally applied at Blizzard, and I got the job at Blizzard, and I've been here for now 4 years. So.
Wow, that's incredible. I like how well-rounded you are. You went from computer science to the art of character animation. That's basically like the whole package in these kinds of jobs. I really like that. And now in your job, I understand you make a lot of very innovative and interesting projects and products. So can you explain the overall process of making a product? What other careers are involved in making these types of products?
Yeah, so projects, I mean, generally any sort of a project starts with an idea, right? So there's an idea, hey, we should do this. And in our case, I mean, ideas come from anywhere. Like, and that is absolutely true. Like, being a product manager doesn't mean that you're the one who's the one generating all the ideas. Ideas can come from anywhere, anyone in the company. Um, but what the product manager then needs to do is kind of do the background analysis on those ideas and understand, are they really uh, as valuable to, will they make an impact to our users? Like, will they really help our users in certain problems that they're having, right? And so we do that. We also, to generate ideas, the other thing we do, so there's ideas that come internally, but then there's ideas where we listen to our users. We get a lot of feedback, and you want to listen to that feedback, and you want to see if there's trends in that feedback, right? And we also do user studies where we'll do interviews with users, surveys, things like that. So all of these things are sort of input into generating ideas for solutions that we can help our users with. We also talk with our leadership, our business partners, to see what kind of problems they're having with meeting their business goals. And sort of it's like this amalgamation of all these inputs that then result in where the ideas come from. Now, as to who we kind of work with, there's a host of other careers involved.
Mhm.
I mentioned product managers, obviously, but then there's the product designers,
Mhm.
they're experts in the UI, UX, sort of how the user is going to interact with the application. engineers, obviously software engineers, data analysts and data scientists are very critical. They help us validate, even before we build something, like, is that really is there really a problem that we're seeing in this area? And then they also help us validate after the fact, right? That, hey, we launched this. Is it actually doing what it's supposed to be doing? So data analysts, data scientists, project managers. So project managers are a little different than product managers. They're more responsible for making sure that things are actually moving on track, that we're actually getting close to, we'll actually hit the dates that we said we might. Um, Folks in QA, quality assurance, making sure that the software works. Product marketing, so when we're gonna actually, send this out, we can, market it and let our customers know that it's coming. Folks in editorial who do the write-ups and write really cool stuff about the product. Localization, because our products are global, so you want to make sure that everybody across the world can sort of understand and get the same benefits without having to just having it be in one language. So these are kind of the different types of, and these are just some of them. I'm sure I'm missing a few, but these are just some of the most important sort of careers, if you will, that are involved in building products, right?
Mhm. Well, that's very fascinating. There's so much work in making these products. We as customers just see the final product, and I have no idea that this many people work in just probably one product. And so, what do you like the most about your job, and what do you think high schoolers would like the most about your job as a product manager?
I think what I like most about being a product manager is that you get to sort of practice many things, many skills at the same time. It's a job that's it's a bit different than, let's say, for example, an engineer where most of their work is doing the same thing. It's coding, right? Product managers are involved, from in every aspect. One day or at any point you might be looking at, building the roadmap, and then the next minute you're triaging some other problem that happened, and so there's just a number of things that you're doing at the same time, and I kind of like that, even though it's it can be hard and frustrating sometimes, but it's that's the fact that I like, that I'm not doing just one thing. I'm doing many, many, many different things. I also like the fact that even small changes that we sort of make can have a really major impact on how our users use the product, and how it makes their lives a little bit better in a small way. So that's a really good feeling. It's a really good feeling when you build something and you're not building it for yourself per se, but you're also building it for somebody else, and you see their faces light up, or you see that they send you really small notes of feedback that are really like, hey, this is great, this is really helpful. It's it makes you feel good that you're helping someone in a small way. And so I think that's really something I think high schoolers would gravitate to. I think, or anybody would gravitate to, is making a difference.
Yeah, I like what you said about how your job's making a difference, and I also like how you can do a lot of different things compared to other jobs that do the same thing a lot. And yeah, your job sounds very fun, but I'm sure there's also hard parts to it. So, what do you think is the most difficult part about your job?
Yeah, the most difficult part is also the most fun part, which I just talked about. Like, product managers are jacks of all, right? And we're helping out in all these different areas to get our products to our users. On any given day, we'd be having meetings with engineers on a feature that's being built right now. We might have, right after that, a meeting with our product designers on something that's further down the road. And then right after that, we might be triaging something that happened, where the live product, there was an outage or something went down, and everybody's panicking and we're trying to figure that out. So there's a lot of context switching. So you're in one mode and then you suddenly have to switch to another mode and then another mode. And so that is, I think, the hardest part. But as I mentioned earlier, that's also like what makes it fun, right? You're always on your toes. You're always, there's no down. Your brain has no downtime. But I kind of like that. I enjoy
Yeah.
that.
Honestly, the way you described it sound like a video game. It's like there's a lot of things to do, but it's also a lot of fun.
Yeah,
Um,
that's a
so
good analogy. It is kind of like a video game.
So to get a job to me, the most one of the most important things is the job interview. So in a job interview, what are some things that companies look for in a product manager, and what are some common questions that they ask?
Given that, we just talked about how product managers need to be sort of jacks of all, they need to have a well-rounded background. Uh, One of the things that's really important is communication, because you're going to be talking to people all the time. You're going to be talking to your users, you're going to be talking to your partners within your team, like the designers, engineers, QA. You're going to be talking to business stakeholders, leadership, and then keeping everybody apprised of what's happening with the product or why we're doing what we're doing. So communication is extremely important.
Mhm.
The other thing I feel that's really important is, problem solving skills. Um, a lot of times as product managers, we'll get requests that are very ambiguous, that we don't, that are not very clear. And I feel like that's one of the main things for product managers, to be able to bring clarity to something that's very ambiguous. And that clarity comes from, being willing to say, okay, I don't understand this. Let me go talk to this person and let me have and let me see if I can get some clarity. Let me ask some clarifying questions. But all of that comes down to being, good communicator, being able to, uh, have that willingness to go and talk to these people. And then the problem solving also comes into, generally our things that we're doing are very big. But problem solving is taking something big and then breaking it down into smaller pieces so you can actually solve each of those smaller pieces and then get the end result, which is that big thing. So that's, to me, is really important. Other things are just understanding the software development lifecycle. You need to understand like how software is built, like what phases it goes through, um, and then data analysis is hugely important these days.
Mhm.
You need to understand. You need to be able to look at data, look at graphs, and understand what they mean and what they're what they're telling you, what insights you can get out of those. Those are really important. And I think also having just some understanding of design, and I don't mean having a degree in design, but just having a good understanding of what, why a product is good, right? Why,
Mhm.
what about its design makes it good? Those are some key things that I think a product manager should have, and these are things companies, I think, look for.
Okay, yeah, that definitely makes sense, and I can see that a product manager needs to be good at a lot of things.
Yeah.
Um, so what are some skills or lessons that you gained or learned from after being a product manager for so long?
I think one of the skills as you grow in your career, and as I've grown in my career as a product manager, is the ability to tell an effective story. And what I mean by that is, a lot of times, you know, even though I'm the product lead on these, I don't make the decisions to say, hey, yes, this is exactly what we're going to do, right? We have to convince people. We have to convince our leadership that, hey, this is a good idea. Uh, and a lot of these folks don't have that, understanding that we do at the ground level, right? So you need to be able to tell an effective story to someone who has very little context and convince them that yes, this is the right path forward, right?
Mhm.
And that to me is a skill that I think I have over time been able to develop, but it takes some people are natural at it. They're really good at that. And for me, it's taken a little bit, I've had to kind of build that up. So that is sort of a skill. I would say it's a little bit on the softer side. But then there's hard skills like, learning about data, getting deeper into that. Those are things you also learn. So.
Yeah, I never thought that storytelling would be such
Mhm.
a huge part in a product in the product manager's job. And so, what are some things that people should avoid doing if he or she wants to become a successful product manager?
Um, I think they should avoid being afraid of asking questions, right?
Mhm,
Because I mentioned one of our major important things is getting clarity, right?
mhm,
And you can only do that if you ask questions. You have to be willing to ask questions. You have to be willing to make yourself be the one who's, I just don't know. I don't have all the answers, and that's why I'm asking you all these questions. And so, kind of, you have to avoid, I mean, for lack of a better word, you have to put your ego aside, right?
mhm,
That it's okay to be someone who doesn't know, who doesn't have the answers, and it's okay to go ask questions of people.
mhm.
I think that's very important for a product manager, and to be honest, I think that's important for a lot of careers.
Yeah,
Just having that humility of just say, I don't know, and let me ask you. And it's also what scientists do, right? I mean, it's they usually start with, I don't know why this is. Let me go start doing some experiments and learn, and maybe I'll get to the answer of why this is.
mhm. Yeah, I think that, yeah, that's a very helpful advice. And yeah, I agree. Asking questions is very important, even as a student in high school. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. So we're at the end, and we're on the final question. So your answers have been very valuable and very helpful, but if you could give any final advice to younger high schoolers or college students that want to pursue their path of being a product manager, what would you give them?
I think at the high school stage, I would encourage people to take at least a couple of classes in coding, uh, a couple of classes if they can in some sort of a design field, to just be able to empathize and understand what makes design tick, and empathize with the users of, um, and then also data analysis. I think those to me are some sort of the three critical components.
Mhm.
If they can take some, tech writing type classes, I don't know if those are offered in high school, but those types of things are also useful. And then, in college, pick something you're passionate about, study it, and, software is written for every field today, right? Like you name it, it doesn't have to be just entertainment. There's software is used everywhere. So if
Yeah.
you're passionate about something, I'm sure there's software for it. And if you're become a domain expert, in that, you can become a product manager for that, right?
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I would say, start with those, explore those classes, see how you like them,
Mhm.
and see how you could, how if you could even pursue, a degree in one of those to start out with, right? So
Mhm. Yeah.
yeah, explore, do lots of different things because product managers do a lot of different things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you so much. And what you said about product management sounds very intriguing to me, and I've learned a lot from, and your advice has been very helpful. So, yeah, thank you so much, and have a nice day.
Yeah, thank you so much, Janet. This was great, and I hope it helps.
Thank you. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you learned a lot from PJ about being a product manager. I know I learned a lot. Being a product manager is a lot of fun, but also a lot of work. You have to basically be able to do everything. You have to know how to code, design, and solve problems, which is a lot, but it's also very intriguing and very interesting. So I hope you liked this video, and if you did, please like and subscribe. And if you want to follow for more updates, please follow my Instagram. And since PJ worked in Disney formerly, please comment down below what your favorite Disney movie or show of all times is. Mine currently is Lilo and Stitch because it's just very emotional, and yeah, I really like it. So let me know down below what yours is. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a nice day. Bye.